Hey guys, this is Music Tech Help Guy, and I'm here today at my house just testing out my brand new camera that just came in the mail the other day. It's a GoPro Hero 4, and the reason why I got this camera is because I have some footage that I need to shoot for some upcoming YouTube videos. Some of them are educational in nature, and some are just fun in nature. But yeah, the I wanted to just do basically some test footage and sync it up to audio, just to see how it works out. I mean, a lot of the footage I'm going to be grabbing is live musicians, so there may be a lot of movement in their playing, strumming the guitar or whatever. So I need the footage to have enough a high enough resolution so it looks good, but also have a high enough frame rate to capture the motion without too much blur. The GoPro Hero 4 can shoot 4K video, but the problem is it maxes out at 15 frames per second at 4K. So the next setting down is 2.7K, and that's what I'm using for this video right now. And it'll shoot 30 frames per second. It'll shoot 60 frames per second at 1080p, which is good, but I really want to bump up the resolution, and I think 30 frames will be just fine. 15 frames is going to look a little jerky and glitchy. So right now I'm using a 2.K setting, 30 frames. I've got it sort of on like not a narrow, but like a medium view or whatever, zoom or whatever you want to call it. But I'm not really a expert with cameras at all. I'm pretty good at like editing video footage, but I'm not very good at actually shooting video. So this is just a test run of my camera. I'm going to try out a few different settings and just put them back to back and sync them up with me playing guitar and singing. So this first setting, like I said, is 2.7K, 30 frames. I have the ISO set to 800, which is, I guess, is how much light the lens lets in, or the light device lets in, whatever you want to call it. So it shouldn't be too bright, but not too dark. It actually looks pretty good at this setting. So let's give it a shot.
Why do we always have to say goodbye? Do we always have to live and die? Can't we live this life for each other? Oh, so many times I've told you, in so many ways I've shown you. Why do we have to say goodbye?
All right, so let me change up the setting, and we'll see if it looks better or looks worse. All right, so now I'm using all the same settings as last time, but I upped the ISO to 3200, so that should let quite a bit more light into the lens. So I think what's going to happen is it's going to look brighter, but the problem with upping your ISO setting, at least from what I've read and seen, is that the noise in the picture tends to get sort of brought up as well. A lot like when you bring up the gain on a mic or something too high, you can hear the noise floor in the mic. It's sort of like the noise in the picture, I suppose. So hopefully this doesn't look too grainy. So we'll give this another shot.
Why do we always have to say goodbye? Do we always have to live and die? Can't we live this life for each other? Well, so many times I've told you, in so many ways I've shown you. Why do we have to say goodbye?
All right, let's try another setting. All right, so same settings as before, 2.7K, 30 frames. This time I've got the ISO set at 1600, so it'll be a little bit darker and hopefully a little bit less pixelated.
Why do we always have to say goodbye? Do we always have to live and die? Can't we live this life for each other?
All right, I'm gonna maybe make my audio examples a little shorter from now on. So this time I have all the same settings. ISO is set to 1600, but I bumped the sharpness up to the high setting. There's a high, medium, and low setting, and all the past clips I've had it on the low setting. This one, it's on the high setting. You'd think that the sharpness would make it, I guess, crisper, but in my initial tests, the video actually looks grainier with the sharpness up. So let's try one at the high setting. All the other ones that were done at the low setting.
Oh, so many times I've told you, in so many ways I've shown you. Why do we have to say goodbye?
All right, let's try another. All right, so all the same settings as before, but this time what I did was I turned off all of the Protune settings, which doesn't let me adjust the ISO or the sharpness, but we'll see how it turns out. Maybe it turns out better.
Light on light, day by day, I will always love you. Night after night, day by day, I will always love you.
All right, let's do one more. All right, so just for shits and giggles, let's try a 1080p test. For this one, I'm using 60 frames. So I think less light actually gets into the picture at higher frame rates. So it required a higher ISO to get like the same amount of brightness. So this is 1600 ISO, 60 frames per second, 1080p. Just keep in mind when I upload this to YouTube, I'm gonna have to encode my entire video at 60 frames. So everything you saw before at 30 is you're actually viewing it at 60, but you shouldn't see any real difference. It's more or less, I guess it would just double up the frames, and so the motion's not going to look any better just because I up encode it to 60. But hopefully the motion here will look a little bit better, but I'm not really sure if it's worth the drop in resolution, but we'll find out.
Light on light, day by day, I will always love you. Night after night, day by day, I will always love you.
So that's that, guys. Thanks for watching this this video test. If you see a binding box around the 1080p one, just keep in mind if I do shoot at 1080p, that won't be there in the future. I just didn't want to upscale the image and make it look distorted. So, so yeah, thanks for watching the video, and be on the lookout for more live footage or more videos with live footage in them in the future. Thanks.